Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Sister Jenna from America Meditating. Hey, I'm rebroadcasting Soul Talk on the Hill. I interviewed various members of Congress about their spiritual side, their American dreams. I asked them questions about America and what they love about it, but what they also want to contribute to it. I went deep into their hearts, and you will not believe how powerfully rich their answers were. Take some time and watch these segments of Soul Talk on the Hill on the America Meditating YouTube channel. Let me know what you think as well. Please take care of yourself, take care of each other, and thank you. Here in America, many of us still believe in the American dream. But why are we still not happy? Why are we struggling to own our own home, to find a job? Do we still have faith that our government representatives have a heart? And do they care about the people who actually put them into office? Join us as we sit one-on-one with America's congresspeople and ask the questions that will reveal what is at the heart and soul of the people who decide our lives. Hi, I'm Sister Jenna. Let's do Soul Talk. Welcome to Soul Talk. I'm Sister Jenna, and if you've been following me for quite a number of years, you are aware that I've been on my own spiritual path. But there are times that you do seek deeper questions. You can sometimes get very clouded in just what you know and what you believe in. I believe that many of us have a story, and through the stories of other people, you learn a lot about your own story and perhaps have the opportunity to expand it. Today, I have the privilege of welcoming Congressman Tim Ryan. Congressman Tim Ryan is a relentless advocate for working families and mindfulness. Serving his sixth term in office, he serves as member of the powerful House Appropriations Committee. He has maintained a daily mindfulness meditation practice and is an outspoken advocate for promoting mindfulness as an aid. So in our conversation today, we want to ask him very important questions. We want to know what's at the heart of our leadership in this nation. And we want to know how we can push this country forward, make it shine. I'm not going to say like it used to, but make it shine even better than before. Congressman Tim Ryan, welcome to Soul Talk.
Great to be with you.
Oh, thank you for being here. I've been following you, and I've been touched by the fact that you're not only interested in meditation and spirituality, but not fluffy type of meditation and spirituality. You're interested in meditation and spirituality because you need to be clear on the decisions that you're making for this country. If I were to ask you, what is your understanding of consciousness? What would you say?
Well, I mean, that's obviously a very deep question, but I think to me, consciousness is about awareness, about awakeness, about seeing life as it's unfolding in so many various ways, and really being there for that. And I think you can develop higher levels of awareness and higher levels of consciousness through practice. And I think we see it a lot of times in great performers or great athletes who seem to have a sixth sense or an intuition that's so highly developed. And that can be cultivated not just in athletics, not just in art or music or playing a specific instrument, or as a doctor. but it can be cultivated in any way in our own lives, as a parent, as a teacher, as a congressman, doesn't matter. So there's the capacity to be aware of your consciousness, be aware of your level of awareness, and there are techniques that are out there that can help you increase it.
I found that it's a word that's been very hard to decode, because I know that consciousness, sometimes you're like, can you see my consciousness? Can I see your consciousness? But I think it exists right now in this room. So it's sometimes a vibration that we're carrying. When you talk a little bit more about consciousness, would you say that it's our thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would guess that that would be a part of our consciousness, but it's not just our thoughts. And to me, with the practice of mindfulness, to me, it can so often be like you are your thoughts, regardless of how negative they may be or true or untrue. There's a bumper sticker that says, "Don't believe everything you think." You know, and I think to me that's it. You can get locked into thinking, okay, that's all I am is that thought in that moment. And I think expanding your ability to be aware can include other things other than your thoughts and
Very
your
good.
consciousness.
Very well said. Now, I know that you've started to do some sort of a meditation practice on the Hill. I think you call it the Quiet Space.
Quiet Time Caucus.
Quiet Time Caucus.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about how that functions.
We just create space every week for a half hour in the chapel that's located in the Capitol. We have a half hour where there's only one rule, and that you can't talk, which is a tough rule in Washington, as you can imagine. But you can come in there and you can practice transcendental meditation, vipassana, centering prayer, which is a Christian-based meditation. You can pray the rosary. You can do whatever you want in that space. And to me, that's what this is all about. It's not about me saying, "Oh, this is what I do, so everyone else needs to do it." To me, it's about creating the space to have a mindful life and find ways to get there yourself. And to me, that's important for us to create that space for members of Congress. And then once a week, we have a staff session where we have different teachers come in. And yesterday, for example, we had a teacher come in who was a Marine who taught and led a meditation session. A few weeks ago, we had an NFL All-Pro football player, Keith Mitchell from the New Orleans Saints. So we're trying to not just provide the space, but also let people know that this is happening in the Marines. This is happening in athletics. This is happening in the medical field, in schools, and to try to demystify it, because it has a connotation that it is somehow fringe. And what I say is, I'm a old half Irish, half Italian quarterback from like Youngstown, Ohio. Like this is normal stuff, and it can really help your life. And so we want to create that space for the staff here and members of Congress to have that opportunity.
I think one of the beautiful things is that you're a lifelong Catholic, and you practice meditation. A lot of people think that you don't mix the two, and I think this is why I want to decode this in these conversations. Meditation is important, but it's to heal something that's not working on the inside. So whether you're Catholic, Buddhist, Muslim, whatever, an atheist, are you willing to turn inwards and check what's going on inside? Now, I've got my interpretation of what that is, but what is your interpretation of meditation?
I think being in the present moment, at least that's the way I've come to it, where it's steadying your mind on the present moment and becoming more and more aware of what in the military they call situational awareness, what's around you. But it also includes that kind of interior work, that interior awareness of what's going on inside of you that may have you making decisions that you're making because of something that happened a while back, or a bad habit that's forcing you, or a thought process that you've never really examined, and you keep making the same mistake over and over. So to me, meditation is the ability to steady your mind enough to see inside and outside exactly what's going on in the present moment.
It's funny because what I just heard you say is that meditation gets you unstuck from patterns that aren't working for you anymore.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. And we're seeing it. I mean, we're seeing it, and I'll give you an example. One of the areas I do a lot of work in is addiction treatment and recovery. And so we just found a study a couple weeks ago that came out on mindfulness-based relapse prevention. So a mindfulness-based approach for addicts is showing much better results than cognitive therapy or other things that they're utilizing almost up to a year, where this is still having an impact if a year later because of a practice and technique that they were able to learn that is mindfulness-based, awareness-based, so that they can see the habits, the impulses of, oh, I want to take that drink, oh, I need those drugs. And then because I think their awareness is increasing, they're starting to say, okay, what's triggering this? They have enough space to say, what's triggering that? What environment am I in? What did I hear? What am I thinking about that is wanting me to take another drink or take a drink when I've quit for 6 months? And if they have that level of awareness, you can then come back to the present moment, let that thought, urge, impulse pass like a cloud in the sky, and you come back to who you really are, and you can let those impulses go. So we are seeing this as there's also smoking cessation programs that are mindfulness based, and you have the wave of addiction come over you to grab a cigarette, breathing, present moment, let it pass. It's easier said than done, but you can see how these type of meditation practices can really help create that space. And it's a very low cost. It's without any side effects.
I think so, definitely. Is that why you authored the book A Mindful Nation?
Yes, I was so touched by the practice, so just deeply, deeply touched by the practice. And then I started to meet people who were doing the work, the scientists, the people with veterans or the military or education. And I was just so moved and inspired by what they were doing. I really wanted to celebrate them. And the book, A Mindful Nation, is a celebration of all of those people that I just wanted to scream from the rooftop and let the world know, you got to see what these people are doing.
That's great. It's so important.
Yeah.
Now, were you in a mindful state when you were writing the book?
Most of the time. We did a series of retreats, and actually they became, part meditation retreats, part book writing, because I just really felt like this needed to come from a more mindful place and come out of me, come out of my center, as opposed to be in words. I wanted it to be inspirational for what our country can be like.
Speaking about our country, one of the interests that we're looking into is how does the role of spirituality or meditation, how can it help to shape our policies, our programs, the way that the government functions? Can spirituality, can meditation, and I'm not talking about meditation where you're sitting on a mountaintop with beads, and that's okay if you do that.
Right.
I don't mind if you wear a purple robe, that's okay. If you smoke funny cigarettes, that's fine. Blow a lot of stuff, do what you want to do. But I'm talking about spirituality and meditation where you're becoming more accountable to what you're thinking. So you're in a position of leadership for a very important country. In just a few words, there are two words here, there are two questions here actually. How can meditation and spirituality shape our policies? That's one.
It can move us out of fear, I think, would be the most profound thing it can do for us. We, as the addict, we were talking about, can see their habits and what's happening inside. I think if we all slowed down just a little bit, and like I said, I don't care what technique you use to get there, but if we all slow down and get a little space and really pay attention to what we're doing, we will see that our decisions in the last however many years have really been based on fear. Whether it's war or any other policy decision that it really seems to be based on fear. And when we're more focused on numbers than people, And I think if we focus on people and investing into them, that the economy can grow, that if we're healthier, we're happier, we have more wellness, higher quality of life, better food. Like these kind of things are investments into our people that will enhance our economy, will grow our economy. More creativity will come about. There'll be more level and higher levels of cooperation. And I love what Jim Wallace, Reverend Jim Wallace, says, who's a pretty progressive evangelical pastor. And he says we don't need to go further to the left in America. We don't need to go further to the right. We all need to go deeper. And I think if we go deeper, that we will have and recognize, I think, the connection that we have, that we will become aware of how deeply, deeply connected we are. And it presents itself in so many different ways in America. You know, you think you can move to the suburb and all the urban problems will go away for you. And then, you know, we see, because we haven't really fundamentally addressed inequality in America, that, you know, it started out with just the city proper that was having problems. Then it was the first ring of the suburbs were having the same and very similar issues to the city and then it was the second ring of the suburbs, and people keep moving. It's like, well, we keep moving out. When can we have a recognition that this is our issue? This is something that we have to deal with, and so let's get creative on how we fix the core, and we can move back in and make it green and fresh and new, and I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. But we can't say to ourselves, "Oh, we could never do that. Oh, where are we going to get the money to do that? You know, how could we possibly do it?" And it's like, we can do anything we want. We went to the moon, you know, and that came from, I think, a young president's aspirations. And nobody, you know, someone asked me the other day, they said, how can you possibly say we're going to get mindfulness in all the schools when we don't even have all the proof we need to? And I said, do you think President Kennedy knew how we were going to engineer a rocket to go to the moon? Like, he didn't know, but he believed in us, and we made the investments, and he believed in the talent of the American people, and our ingenuity, and our innovation, and our ability to get things done, big things. And he did what great leaders do. He set the tone and inspired in the vision, and then we met it. And I think this could, for us, very similar kind of thing. Let's set the vision. Let's inspire people. This can be done. This is real. Let's shake our fears, and let's move forward and make some great things happen.
Congressman Tim Ryan, that was very powerful. You gave me an image of holding the seed in your hand, and in the seed was everything. Mm-hmm. And there's an old saying, you can take the man out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the man. So we can try to juxtapose everything as much as we want to, but if something doesn't shift in us,
right,
then nothing's going to shift. So you've given us a beautiful image of what I would maybe call a perfect America or a better America. What do you, at this stage, you're in your 6th term, right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
May it be many more.
Thank you.
What are you absolutely sure of at this stage in your life?
Well, you know, I'm sure I love my wife, and I love my kids, and I love my family, and I'm sure of that, and I'm sure that will never go away. I'm convinced of that. But I am sure, I don't have an exact timeline, but I am sure that our country too is under a transformation. And sometimes you have to feel and be bathed in complete yuckiness in order to like really say, we've got to change. And it's not, we don't need to change who we are, we need to see who we are. And we've been so distracted, I think, in the last few years, really the last decade or so, with war and death and 22 veterans a day killing themselves, high levels of inequality, no big vision for the country, a depression almost. Maybe it's not reflected in the economy, but there's a level of depression, I think, that we all have, stress, uncertainty. And I think that we are beginning that is cracking us open in a way. That a congressman from Ohio can write a book about mindfulness, and people listen to it because there's an openness, and it's not just people who are already into it. It's new people who are saying, "What is this?" Yeah. Because they are looking today. They are open today, and to me, that gives me great hope that within that openness that they have, if we present this in a way that you're presenting it or I'm presenting it here today, that this is for average people. This is for kids in inner cities. You don't have to have a pair of Lululemon yoga pants on in order to benefit from this. This needs to be in our schools. This can help people heal. I've met and meditated with veterans from the Vietnam War who have been healed by these techniques, who are reestablishing relationships with their ex-wives, who are reestablishing relationships with their kids and their grandkids, that can get in a car and go for a drive without wanting to choke the person who just cut them off. And to see that and think, wow, this is so powerful. Yeah. What in the hell are we waiting for? Yeah. And to me, that's what I'm certain of. It's going to happen. I don't know when. I know it's happening now. When does it get to the point? But our mission really in America is to create a more perfect union. So it may not be absolutely perfect, but we keep moving into that more perfect union.
Congressman Tim Ryan, you make us very hopeful because it's a very sensitive language. Meditation, spirituality, mindfulness. But I think and I know, I think I'm also sure that fundamentally everyone's got peace, love, and power in them. They just have to activate it. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us on Soul Talk. It's been really inspiring.
Thank you.
Revealing. Hopeful.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, as you all just listened to Congressman Tim Ryan share with us not only some practical approaches, but basic things like think about how beneficial it is in saving lives, in helping individuals to transcend their own limitations. Can it really be just a thought away to just shift your consciousness and come back to a place of what virtues needed to emerge here? Is it that simple to just pause for a little bit and stabilize your mind and find your place of power and your place of truth? America, we know and believe that we've got what it takes to bring this place really back up to the surface and really let this country shine in the way that we envision it. Thanks for watching Soul Talk. Join us again soon.